magic of the Cybernet Space Cube, the computer-enhanced podcast of the future. Transformers Slag Podcast.
What up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? It's the Transformers Slag Podcast Saturday Night live stream main event. I'm your host, Proto Man. This is the face, this unshaved face, that runs this place. This is the voice you hear Monday to Friday, and it is Saturday night. And we're going to hang out, talk Transformers, and just relax. It has been quite a eventful week for Transformers. A lot of pre-orders dropped from the Japanese side of things, and it's quite a bunch of exciting stuff. So we're going to cover that. There's been a lot of updates from what we talked about on Monday up until this point right now. And we'll take some super chats from the fans, and we'll just enjoy this lovely weekend. Who do we got in the chat tonight? YouTube members of Link CW, Mike Rosen, Mikey and Louie are here early. Timmy K. Poindexter, T-Formers 2002. I believe one of your commissions are almost done for Mr. Archer. I saw he was working on it today. Orlando Chavez, Ashnud. Hope I didn't miss anybody. Princeton Phalanx 59. Got some Patreon members here too. Looking good. Looking good in the hood. There's Mayoral. He just slid in. So let's jump into it. Got a lot we got to cover. Cover all of that. Got some cool stuff today. There was this humongous closeout store. There's this giant closeout store that opens up every single year here in Montreal to kind of be like these early Christmas present kind of purchase things. Like I'll get into it when we get into what we got this week. Got a lot of wacky stuff. Maybe some people would appreciate it. But let's jump into the news, and we're going to jump in first with BAM. Wonder Festival was Monday and Tuesday, oddly enough, this week. I don't know why they did it on a Monday and Tuesday in Shanghai, but that's what they were going to do, and that's what they were going to do. And Wonder Festival Shanghai had a booth from Toy Tour. Toy Tour has done a lot of blind packed Transformer product, and they've done other licensed brands and stuff. The last ones that they did Transformer related was actually Rise of the Beast ones with chase figures and all kinds of stuff. And now they're doing their Beast Wars SD collection. And let me tell you something. I'm loving it. I'm loving it a lot. Because, fun fact, despite the fact that Beast Wars was easily one of the most highly rated shows between 1996 and 1999 in terms of ratings, with that Y7 to Y21 demographic, not only was Beast Wars the number one selling toy for that year in 1997 and 1998, beating out the N64, which was the second place best-selling toy item. And they refer to it as a toy anyways for video games. But all of that success for Beast Wars, they didn't have a lot of merchandising outside of action figures, McDonald's promotions, a few puzzles, and a few video games. You'd think there'd be more for such an insanely huge brand. You'd think there'd be like, pillowcases and bed sheets and posters and sticker sets and trading cards. None of that. Not even a TCG. You would have thought during the TCG boom of the mid to late 90s. But that's being made up for now. And Toy Tour is going to be making a line of SD PVC figures similar to their Rise of the Beast ones. And they look really cool. They look really cool. This is not confirmed, but in the past Toy Tour, their cases are 10 different characters in a box. We only see 9 here. I'll get into those 2 gray ones in a moment. We only see 9 of them. I think Optimus Primal's the 10th one. I think they just kind of want to save it to show it off at a later date. The 2 gray ones are probably going to be the chase figures, probably a dark design Rhinox and a T-Rex Megatron, or some kind of other color scheme. Maybe they'll do a clear version. They'll do something like that. We got 2 other Megatrons there. We got regular Megatron and a Megatron smiling with Rubber Ducky. So this is pretty hype. These aren't very hard to get. People were asking in the comments, how would they be able to get these? I'll be honest with you. Usually how you're able to get these, you have to buy the case. So if you don't mind getting every figure, then hey, get the case. It'll be pretty good. You rarely see these sold individually through retailers, but I find with Toy Tour and a lot of these other Chinese-based and Shanghai-based blind pack companies, it's pretty easy to find these in the secondary market afterwards on eBay. So if there's a specific one you want, oh, I only want to own Black Arachnia, or I only want Rubber Ducky Megatron, probably wait a week or two after these release, and there'll be plenty of these in the secondary market. I can speak from personal experience of wanting specific characters from some of these other past sets and finding them quite affordably and easily online. Because people, they crack like a whole bunch of cases and they sell them individually and they make their money that way. And there's always someone that just wants Waspinator. There's always somebody that just wants Cheetor, that just wants Rhinox, that just wants Rat Trap or Rubber Ducky Megatron. So they're pretty hype. We don't have a release date yet or a price, but the past Toy Tour case assortments were about $120 to $150, at least for the Rise of the Beast one. So probably in that same range. And then we're talking, if someone's going to sell these individually in the secondary market, expect to pay maybe $10 to $15 each, depending on seller. But I've seen that many times. So that's probably the case. That's probably the case. But these look great. I'm very excited about these. They look really cool. Just nice to see more Beast Wars merch. And Lord knows we're going to be talking about more Beast Wars today because there's a lot of Beast Wars love. But let's jump into other stuff, shall we? Let's talk about that 40th anniversary line that dropped in our lap today. So Hasbro has had a very interesting past couple of years when it comes to the retro reissue line. They kind of did the retro reissue line where they were taking the old G1 toys, putting them in very G1 looking packaging, and putting it out there as a Walmart exclusive. Then they did, oh, those aren't selling very well. Let's do the retro reissues with the Headmasters, where they were taking the Titan Returns and putting them in retro G1 packaging with updated art. And they did that as a thing, and those didn't sell very well. Then they did the retro reissues with Beast Wars, and well, those weren't selling very well. And that's why if you go right now, you could probably see Optimus Primal and Rat Trap on clearance in different kind of clear out stores. So that was, didn't sell very well. Then we had the Transformers the Movie retro reissue line, which is taking those old G1 molds and giving them the best possible paint scheme that they could give them. And we don't know yet how those have been received, but so far, I mean, I haven't seen clearance on those yet, but so far those seem to have some kind of legs. So Hasbro now for the 40th anniversary are kind of fusing two of those past ideas. Take the idea of taking those old G1 molds, giving the best possible color scheme, put them in retro packaging like they started with the retro reissue line, slap that licensing and that branding of the Transformers 40th anniversary on it, and you're off to the races. So what do we got here? We got a Soundwave and a Blaster. And while it isn't exactly like the original Soundwave and how it was released, different tooling slightly because of just how the tooling has changed throughout the years, the Blaster is pretty much true to the original tooling of 1985, short of one variant, but that's, semantics. And you get a couple of cassette bots that traditionally were not packaged with these characters originally, with extremely screen accurate paint schemes and color schemes, modified box art to match those paint schemes or color schemes, and a $45 price tag. For the Soundwave, that's pretty good. Getting the two cassette bots, the vintage figure. I'm going to assume they probably got rid of the die cast to make it $45 because when they did the original reissue a couple years ago in a pre-inflation world, it was $50. So I imagine they probably worked out the die cast of this one here to make it more affordable. And same thing probably with Laserbeak and Ravage. The die cast is not present there. Let's just hope the quality of the plastic is good in replaced of that die cast. But at the end of the day, I think the Soundwave pack is probably a very good price. I love the colors on it. A red visor on a G1 Soundwave 84 is quite rare to see. So that's pretty cool. Looks nice. I dig it. Now, Blaster, despite him being my first Transformer and me having a personal bias towards this character and really liking this character a lot because of that, I do feel that this is going to be the tougher one of the two in terms of the secondary market and sales. We've already talked about this on the individual segment. Blaster went through crazy deep discount when we had that reissue barely 12 months ago. It was nuts. This guy was original MSRP for the reissue was $30, went down to 15, then 10, then 5. People were showing screenshots of, you know, $1.85. Some people were finding it for like 50 cents. It was nuts. It was nuts how Walmart was trying to get rid of this figure, like desperately trying to get rid of this figure. So now it has a really nice paint scheme and an extra cassette bot that wasn't there before, also in a really nice paint scheme, in a packaging that's going to make Walmart employees get deja vu. That I just hope it works out. And I hope that people who are casual buyers of Transformer product, not the hardcore people like us, but the casual buyers, will not mistaken this for what they passed up on and didn't want to buy at full MSRP. And considering that the original blaster back in 2019 and 2020, excuse me, no, 2021 and 2022, when the original reissue came out, barely, 12 to 18 months ago, that was going for 30 full price and they couldn't find a market. This is going to be 45. So I don't know. I don't know. I want to buy this brand new in the package and almost leave it in the package just because it's a celebration of 40th anniversary. It was the first Transformer I ever owned back in 1986. So it has a special place in my heart. But for the rest of the planet, I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. Let me know what you think, but I don't know. But at least it tells us like this is kind of what the 40th anniversary subline is going to be going into 2024. And, some people were looking at this and going, well, now we have Missing Link. What's the point of this? Why not just get like Missing Link Soundwave and have that done and call it 40th anniversary? And I agree with them, but we'll see what happens. It is a way to get some more mileage out of those molds and make more money. Me personally, I think they should have just kind of stuck with that Transformers the movie packaging that they were doing with the reissues and keep a consistency with that, and then put the 40th anniversary on it. But they want to have classic packaging. They want to market to a few different demographics, people who are casual fans that, hey, it's 40th anniversary of Transformers. Hey, I remember that old Soundwave toy 40 years ago, even though the blaster was technically 39 years ago. So, but again, I'm not going to go into the details. Either way, let me know what you think. It is an interesting take, to say the least. It is an interesting take. Let's get into those pre-orders because we got so many. So let's start with the Phantom Showdown, the BWVS 08. We thought the BWVS series was done. And I remember one of my YouTube members was actually asking for weeks about this one. Like, hey, when are we going to get a clear repaint of Starscream? And I was like, hey, it's only a matter of time because historically, those Seeker Starscream molds, regardless of where they come from, they get a clear repaint sooner or later, either on the Japanese side or on the Western side. Sooner or later, there's going to be a Ghost of Starscream. And guess what? That sooner is now. And we got a Ghost of Starscream. And what I like most about this, it's a Voyager. You get a Ghost Starscream, so those always do well in the secondary market. You get another Waspinator, this time with some translucent plastics, and I love the Decepticon emblem put on the back of his head like in the show. If you saw on my Twitter, I did that post going like, that's an amazing addition. Nice little deco there of that. So you get a nice little Starscream Waspinator, so you get that little extra piece to it. But I am seeing some places, I'll give a shout out to them. I might as well. They're not a sponsor of this channel, but Hobby Search a lot of times has really good pre-order prices. And they have this set, and that's the price there in the middle, 8,100 yen, about $54 for this 2-pack. You're getting a Voyager and a Deluxe at premium paint in a nice box, because they're going to do that throwback box, and it's only going to be for $54.50 pretty much, if we could round it off. That's insane, considering, right now we have, I mean, it's kind of crazy, but we're at like $40 Voyagers and $25 Deluxes, and this is huge savings. So fantastic little set. And again, Ghost Starscreams always sell well. The Earthrise Starscream has been a quite well-received price point and sculpt for that Starscream, really replacing that old deluxe that we got back in 2006 and that whole army of them. And the Waspinator is just a beautiful addition. I mean, me personally, I can't decide which one I like more, the Starscream or the Waspinator, because I just love the little Decepticon emblem on the back. It actually makes it just a little different enough from the Cheetor 2-pack. So great stuff, great price. And the great prices are going to continue as we continue this conversation when we move to the next one of the pre-orders. And so this one here, with more information I've gotten about this, so this is going to be the beginning of a new subsect of Japanese Transformer sets similar to the BWVS. These are called the Dramatic Capture Series, DCS, Dramatic Capture Series. So I think these are sets that are going to try to capture key moments, key sets of everything. What's up, Aaron? Of Transformers. And this is the first of those. This is the DCS 01, Dramatic Capture Series 01, Nemesis Bridge, Megatron, Shockwave, Soundwave with Laserbeak. Now, already I talked about in my individual segment how this is already a steal from the original assumed price, because there was, they shopped out a price point that this might be $100 USD. And you're going to get a insanely well-painted Earthrise Megatron. That's probably the most screen-accurate retail version of that Legacy / I guess we'll call it Kingdom Earthrise Siege, Netflix era trilogy of molds and stuff. So it's about as screen accuracy. I love the way they did the paint on the face, especially. It's very screen accurate to what Sunbow did all those years ago. A Shockwave that, while it doesn't have the extra pieces that make the armor, it's, it doesn't really matter because it looks accurate to how he looks in the show with a good paint scheme. And the most important out of them all, a Netflix Soundwave done with even better paint, and you don't have to break the bank in order to get one. Because this set, along with that throne, is only going to cost you $85. That's insane. A leader class and 2 Voyagers for $85 and some change. Granted, yes, okay, Proto Man, what about the shipping? Well, depending on where you live, shipping could be cheap, it could be expensive, but I'm talking about at least the base here. That's insane. That's really good. That is really, really good. Considering like Netflix Soundwave right now, there are scalpers on eBay trying to sell Netflix Soundwave for like $150, $200, and in all honesty, has been selling some of them as of a couple of weeks ago. And now you don't have to anymore because this is here. So you have a great option. It's something, even if you don't want the other two, just you'll get your Netflix Soundwave and you could sell the other two in the secondary market. And who knows, maybe someone will want that Shockwave for $50. Maybe someone will want that Megatron for $50, and that covers most of your costs right there. So this is a fantastic set, and this is the first of an ongoing kind of subsection of Takara product, the Dramatic Capture Series. So stay tuned for more of that. But again, if you want to pick it up, there's plenty of cheap pre-orders out there. And the lowest I've seen right now has been Hobby Search at $85. So pretty awesome. Dig it a lot. Looks really good. But we're not done yet. How about some more beasts? We finally got some really nice images of the Transformers Legacy United Voyager class Silverbolt. No more blurry images. Now we got the full span of this character, and he's looking great. So this was popped up on Takara Tomy Mall's website. So it was listed under how they designate their stuff. It's not so much Legacy United, whatever. It's just part of the Transformers Legacy line for them. So it's the TL58 Silverbolt, Beast Wars Silverbolt, and he looks great. In all honesty, I've said this before in my individual segments, it looks like they took the old toy and then they just completely went to town on giving it better articulation, better paint, and different head sculpt and different wing sculpt. Like it looks really good. I'm very curious when Mark Evan and whoever was the Takara side of the designers, when they go deep dive on like Instagram on how this was put together. I'm really curious how much of that original 1998 FUZOR toy was involved in part of that tooling, because it's very like just anyone who's owned the original and has really manhandled it, for lack of better words, will know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is fantastic. And again, If you buy it through, like, let's say, Hobby Search or AmiAmi, pre-orders are up right now on those, and you could get it for under $30, which is even cheaper than Western MSRP at like a Walmart. So you have also really good options right now for pre-orders. So check that out too. Looking fantastic. Very excited about that one. We don't have a release date for that yet, but judging by the other ones I talked about, the BWVS Starscream, the Dramatic Battle Series, Nemesis Bridge, those have a release date of March 2024. So these might be also March 2024 because these are also later wave Legacy United stuff, where all the Wave 1 Legacy United stuff is supposed to be January. So I'm going to assume this is also March, but don't quote me on it, just a guess based on everything else that has gone up for pre-order through Takara Tomy Mall and what has showed up on all the different Japanese socials. And speaking of another big pre-order, and this is the one I'm probably the most excited about personally, and that's this bad boy right here, Transformers Masterpiece MP59 Beast Wars Rhinox, aka the Land Defense Maximal. Love it. Love it. This is like he walked right off the screen and was turned into an action figure. It is insane how well this turned out. I can't stress that enough. My sister, many years ago, when we bought our first Beast Wars toys, I bought Cheetor, she bought Rhinox. And I had to send her this. And, she doesn't collect Transformers anymore. It's obviously anyone who's been to TFcon has met her a few times. She doesn't collect Transformers, but I sent her this going like, Annie, you got to see this. And she couldn't believe it. She thought it was like the CG model. Like we were just looking at pictures of the CG model. And I told her like, it's a figure. And she was like, oh my God. So looks absolutely insane. I love just all the detail on it. It's insane how this looks. And you go deeper. I have tons of photos, people, because we're going to go deep into this one. I just love like the extra effort, all the pieces, the different face sculpts, the two chain guns. It says here it comes with two chain guns. One could be stored on him in the Rhino mode. The other is kept on the side. Comes with two of them. So that's really cool. The interchangeable face, the multiple pieces of articulation, the fact that he scales properly with them. I mean, it's nuts. It's really nuts. It could go through the front, it could go through the back. The fact he opens his mouth all the way because his transformation, when he would maximize, he would obviously let out a huge yell beforehand. He has his butt because anyone who saw The Low Road knows it's all about the butt. Wild bean vines, hard to digest. I love it. I love it. And even more, even more. So the story with these, and like, let me just go back actually. So like the weapon that he comes with, where's he comes with that little weapon on the bottom left there. So that was a probe device that was used during the episode Chain of Command when Optimus Primal was like captured by the Vok and he was in this like pod and everything. And Rhinox had to like build a device to take him out of that pod. That was that device. And then later in that same episode was also the debut of the Chain Guns of Doom, or as some fans like to call it, the Chain of Command Guns of Doom. So just great stuff. The Spark is an homage to the episode The Spark, where Air-Razor debuted, and Rhinox was the one who introduced all of the Transformer universe to the concept of sparks. That little clear plastic hilt there is so you could get Optimus Primal riding on his back and stuff. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I am so excited about this one. Now, different retailers have different prices for it listed. Here on the Takara Tomy Mall website, they have 35,200 yen as a listing, which puts it above $200 for this. Now, he's going to scale with the larger characters. He's going to be bigger than Optimus Primal, but smaller than Dinobot or Rhinox. But it's something that I've looked online. There's different people taking different pre-orders. And again, that Hobby Search website, which is reputable, they have them at 27,200 yen, which has it at about $183. That's the cheapest I've found thus far. Historically, the Beast Wars masterpieces, they come out and then they go on sale on Amazon.jp. I know that that's how I got my Tigatron on cheap. So if you are a little hesitant, there might be cheaper alternatives later. If you want to lock in now, That's one suggestion is the Hobby Search website. They have the cheapest price thus far. Maybe the shipping will be good to your area depending on where you live. But I think this looks great. And again, you know, I buy all the masterpieces as much as I can, G1 or otherwise, but I rarely buy two of them. But with the Beast Wars ones, I've always been tempted to buy two because they look so good in both modes. And these have always been characters that have always been very much associated with both modes because there was so much character in both. And someone like Rhinox that had episodes like The Dark Voyage, where he was in beast mode the whole time, or even our little low road situation. There's so much just character with these. And they're so well suited for Masterpiece because you have that open budget. You have these models that were 3D models. You weren't 2D flat characters on an animation cell, and you have to interpret that as best you can. These are very easy to interpret into 3D space. It's just a matter of the transformations could be done correctly. And he's one of those cases where they figured it out. I don't know who the engineer was on this one, the designers, but hats off to them. The past masterpieces have been done by Yuki Ashima, which was the Kiss Play guy. He did the Optimus Primal, he did the Cheetor. So chances are Yuki Ashima probably did this one too because he knocked it out of the park with those guys. We will see though, but looks really good. Very impressed. I'm tempted to get two of these. It's so good. It is so good. Looking real good. Looking real good. And that's it more or less for the pre-orders today. But I mean, for the longest time, this guy was my gold standard. Was totally my gold standard for my masterpiece display. I had like all my masterpiece Maximals, and I had this guy, the Generations one, with his two, chain guns of doom, which again, credit to the Aaron Archer era of the Thrilling 30 for including two spinning chain guns. Could have included just one, but they somehow worked out two in there. And for the longest time, that was in my masterpiece display along with the Thrilling 30 Rat Trap. So now we're finally going to be changing it up. This guy is being retired after 10 years, and now he's going to migrate to the Generations collection where he originally started. So really good stuff. But aside from that, that's it for the news. We'll take some super chats. We'll talk some sponsors, and then we'll talk about what we got this week. And but let's start with those sponsors. But first, I'm going to get some water in me because I am thirsty. We got a whole bunch going on today. We still got plenty of time tonight to talk robots. So let's get into our sponsors. And of course, Symbiote Studios, plush pins and t-shirts, as always. Been talking with Symbiote recently, and looks like there is some new stuff on the horizon for the beautiful Wave 8 of 2024. So we have quite a few different items of the Transformer nature that will be debuting, some companion pieces too, even. That's all I'm going to say to that. But be sure to tune in the future. We'll definitely get the skinny on those. And you got to see the latest editions of the plush, the pins, and the t-shirts from Symbiote. Of course, I already showed you guys the Ultra Magnus that's going to be coming in 2024. If you haven't picked up the Slag for your collection, and of course, Optimus Primal for your Rise of the Beast needs. But of course, again, stay tuned in the future. There is going to be more, and check them out at symbiotestudios.com because it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. Really, really good. What else do we got? What else do we got? We also have, of course, the extras of all their other stuff. They are working on other projects, but I don't know what is public on those other brands, so I will keep quiet on those ones for now. But there is other stuff from the other brands also on their way from the Hasbro nature, so stay tuned for that. We got a super chat from Brainstorm 2002 for $5. Do you think Masterpiece? Do you think Takara will make Masterpiece Headmasters? You know what? If they do, I imagine them doing Chrome Dome first because Chrome Dome really was the face of the Headmasters 87 era in Japan. But aside from that, the others might be a little tougher. I mean, obviously, Fort Max would be. I mean, where do you even begin with that one? Even if you just do just the head itself, when are you going to promise the fans a body? How big would that body be? So I could see Chrome Dome being done. I could see them doing that, but the rest of them might be a little tough. And of like the more like-sized Decepticon ones, like Mindwipe and the crew, I don't really see them doing those. Would they do, Lord Zarek, Mega Zarek, Scorponok? I don't know. That they're too big. They're too big for that price point. It's something that, if we see another Headmaster, Fortress Maximus, or Scorponok, I think it was Mikey and Louie that suggested like they'll do like more like the Marvel Comics size, like how big they were in the Marvel Comics or something. They'll do that in their colors or whatever. Almost like I don't want to say a world smallest, but a world smallest Scorponok and Fortress Maximus in a lot of ways. I can't, like, Masterpiece is a tough one because we just talked about that Rhinox. Rhinox is going to be, slightly bigger than this one, maybe like this much bigger, and it's going to be a $200 item minimum. What is a Fortress Maximus going to cost? And then when you say, okay, let's not talk the city formers, let's just talk the other guys. They don't have enough, equity that would garner it outside of Chrome Dome. Chrome Dome, I could see. Chrome Dome is totally could happen. And then you could do Chrome Dome RC colors, the unreleased Headmaster RC. So right away you got that. Maybe you could do Toxin if you want to do the deep cuts. But yeah, that's about really as much as I could see from Headmasters, unfortunately. That's really as far as it goes. There's the super chat. A little late that time. The little system that I have set up here. But yeah, T-Formers 2004, it seems hobby search. You may need to have a Japanese email address to create an account. Oh, that sucks. It's weird because the website has an English system going on. So, but we'll see. I'll look into it myself. I know it's definitely been one of the cheaper prices I've been seeing online. Worst case, you use a proxy or something. There's plenty of those online too. Patrick Brown, Proto, I know he's not on the leak list, but what are the odds of seeing a new leader Armada Jetfire in 2024? Thoughts? Well, we could definitely see him in like, let's say Q3 or Q4 because we know nothing of that. We don't know anything like what's going to be the product in like October, November, December. So there might be something that's behind the scenes. Clearly, the tooling is there to work with a Commander class Optimus Prime, combined with the fact that Commander class Armada Optimus Prime won the Hall of Fame. So that told Hasbro, hey, people like this thing. People really like this thing. We want to see more of it. We want mini cons. So it's just a matter of time, if anything. I know that a third party company showed their prototype recently. I think it was the Fan Toys one. So, I mean, you have that alternative. But I mean, when you're talking something that works with your Hasbro retail product, nothing yet, but I would not be surprised. Orlando Chavez, did you pick up the new Transformer comic this week? Yes, I did. Wednesday, I went to my comic book store. I picked up just the main Optimus cover A and then the cover A and B of the Autobots and Decepticons as a group. I don't have it with me. It's actually up in my comic book room. Um, they had some of the other covers there, the retailer incentives covers, but I wasn't going to pay like $40 or $50. I think, how many covers are we at now? Like 40? What is it, 40 covers now? I did my Twitter post. I said, here's 33 different covers. And then like a whole bunch of other ones were also revealed after. So Fans Hobby, thank you, Timmy, was the Armada Jetfire third party masterpiece scale. But I did pick it up. Really good stuff. Kaz with the $2 super chat just got Takara Dagarn. I love Dagarn. Really, getting a real hotshot vibe. Well, Dagarn, but also even stuff like maybe not Jay Decker, but when you get into like even X Kaiser, you kind of have that like hot rodded car kind of look to the main robot, the smaller main leader robot kind of stuff. And then of course when you go to like Jay Decker Police, when you go to Might Gain, you got jet slash train kind of stuff going on. So, but I love Dagarn. Great theme song too. Great theme song. A lot of human story though in it. You watch that intro, and there's like so many characters that have their own backstories and subplots, and it's pretty crazy. I don't want to spoil too much, even though it's almost 30 years old now, that series. but still a great one. HobbyLink has the same discount. There you go. Perfect. So you have options. You got options. Plenty of options. So let's just talk about some of the other sponsors in the meantime. We got Andaseats. Of course, we're rocking our Andaseat here. Again, promo code Protoman. Use that promo code on Andaseats.com. Get a Transformer chair or any of their other chairs. They're also available, I believe, in Best Buy. Best Buy also carries their chairs and stuff, but you won't be able to use the promo code there. Only on the website. But if you want to test one out, go to Best Buy in person, and they have some on display. And you could sit in them and just realize just how comfy it is being in an Andaseat. Mind you, I don't really know much of gaming chairs because this was my first one, and it feels really good. So thank you, Andaseats. Paul with the $5 super chat. Should Hasbro use Legacy United for the next TF HasLab name? They did it with the HasLab War for Cybertron Unicron. Well, I mean, the Unicron really was like the first time they were doing something like that. And I think that, that was during John Warden's stint with Hasbro doing the Transformer stuff. And I think that there might have wanted to be a little bit of a unification combined with the fact that at the time, you have the War for Cybertron stuff, you have the Netflix series. Unicron was making cameos in that Netflix series. So it really was something they almost kind of wanted to co-promote. Here's the Netflix series, it's to advertise the toys. Oh, Unicron is in this. It's something where if HasLab Unicron would have came out, this year, maybe they would have put a Rise of the Beast branding on it, because of his presence in that. So it's hard to say, but that's kind of why we don't really see that with, like, let's say the Victory Saber or some of the other products. Those are just kind of trying to be their own thing in a lot of ways. But yeah, that's why I think they did that. But the age-old question always is, what is it going to be now? What is it going to be now? Let's go back into some other sponsorship stuff. Let's talk about Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. The latest episode is going to be dropping very soon. Got just a few more things I got to put together. Should be coming next week. It'll definitely 100% be out before TFcon Orlando, which we will talk about in a moment. But yeah, definitely 100%. You're going to be having a brand new Toy Armada segment, a very, very, very good Transformer segment. You people will love this one. But if you haven't already, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer, we got the Beyblade segment that's up right now, along with a whole bunch of others. Go check it out. If you're subscribed here, you should be subscribed there. The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. And if you also love Aaron's work, of course, The Art of Transforming Robots Volume 2 is available on his website. It will be available at TFcon Orlando. So if you don't want to pick one up online, you could pick one up in person and get Aaron to sign it for you and draw a sketch for an extra 15 and shake his hand and tell him how he ruined your childhood and everything like that. And then you could look to the right of him and there will be probably me just, I don't know, staring at the wall or something. But anyways, the point is, go check it out, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. And of course, archermonster.com/shop and pick up one of the color Volume 2 books if you have not already. Sketchbook, really good stuff. And if you want extra more stuff, here's some brand new ones from the instructions. We got a kicker. I like that kicker, actually. I don't know why I like it. But I've always liked Kicker. I'm one of the few people that like the character of Kicker. I don't know. I just like the concept of him. I always liked him as a character. Obviously, people might hate him because of the Brad Sway dub from Energon, but you shouldn't be watching the Unicron trilogy in dub. That's just what I say. But we got some brand new additions. We got the Kicker. We got the Megatron. I'm sure there's more to come also on top of the others. Go check it out, archermonster.com/shop, and pick up a hand-painted instruction. Frame it on your wall and be proud. More to come. And that's it, more or less. So I just wanted to also mention, TFcon Orlando, I will be there. It is 100% confirmed now. I will be at TFcon Orlando. If you want to find me, I'll be with Aaron the whole weekend. I am trying to work out to get done in time. This is just the prototype to to get done in time the Famicom Boys, not the Famicom Boys, the Optinesses, to make a run for the Orlando market to pick up as an exclusive. So if you are going TFcon Orlando, you might get a chance to pick up a little Transformer Nintendo cartridge. It will not look like this. It'll obviously be the final product will be painted in and stuff, not painted in, stickered up and stuff and everything. So be sure to check that out. Everything looking good. Orlando Chavez says, Aaron Archer didn't ruin his childhood, just ruined his wallet. I would agree with that too. Starting with like Armada, I'd have to say that every paycheck absolutely got disappeared. I got $500 every 2 weeks working at Burger King, and then that $500 just melted away every single time. Aaron, hey, make it a shirt. Aaron says here, laugh out loud. Aaron Archer didn't ruin my childhood. He ruined my wallet. That should be your shirt, Aaron. Yeah, should be a shirt. Get something put together. That'd be really good. But yeah, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So, now let's talk about what we got this week. So, first thing, what I got in the mail, only got one thing in the mail that really. So, we were just talking about the blind box stuff. So, this is the Pop Mart Optimus Prime, set and everything. Chinese blind box set. Take a guess who Proto Man wanted to get in the mail. So, obviously, I only really wanted to get one guy, just one dude, maybe the Shockwave, but only wanted one dude. And luckily, they were being sold very cheaply online. Picked this up for about $11 when everything was said and done with the trading cards, because you also get the torso for a Devastator. So I got the little PVC of that. Looks really cool. Love the paint quality on this. Definitely a step up from what SCF PVC was doing back in the day. This looks way better and better high quality than the old PVC. This is almost like an ABS, if anything. Very nice. Definitely recommend these. They are not articulated, though. I can't stress that enough, but they are very nice, very cool figures. Good desk bot display stuff. We got a super chat from Olden Tolbert for 5 bones. How you doing, Olden? Imagine if Waspinator's brain grew intelligent and overthrew Megatron easily in 2 seconds. Well, if it was under Starscream, probably it would have happened. Definitely. But we're definitely not going to have a Grimlock's brain situation with Waspinator, because the closest we got to him being not himself was probably Thrust in Beast Machines. Spoiler on a 25-year-old show. Thrust in Beast Machines. And even then, he was still kind of a crony. He was more happy about being cool and stuff than a Scott McNeil me Waspinator. So I imagine Waspinator would probably never do that. And assuming that his rants are true, he is really Shrapnel Decepticon Hero, who kind of did his own thing, assuming that's even canon, or he's just ranting. But he also said he was Wonko the same, so I got that. Thank you for the super chat. So I got that one. Very happy with that. Very cool. Trading cards cool. All of that is really cool. Aside from that, whole bunch of other stuff. Just want to make sure I got everything here. Yeah. So there's this clear out store in Montreal. It's literally located behind one of the Mercedes dealerships where I work. And every year they get tons of dead stock of stuff from all the different big retailers, because those big retailers need to empty their stock so they could put the new Christmas stuff going into November and December. And they get tons of dead stock of stuff. Their Transformer selection wasn't that great, in all honesty, but they had a lot of other stuff that was really good. I still got some Transformer stuff, but they got a lot of other great stuff. So the Transformer stuff I got, so they had these the world's smallest micros there. I got these they were $2.99 Canadian each, so that's about like $1.80 American. So they had the whole first wave. So I picked those up. Got the Starscream, the Bumblebee, and the Optimus. It would have been cool if they had Wave 2, because I believe Wave 2 was the one that had RC. but I mean, still pretty cool. So for like, for the equivalency of $1.83 American to get the full set each, I love that. That was really good. Um, that's it for the Transformer stuff, unfortunately. I didn't bring them down because I already put them in the display. They also had the Power Ranger ones for the same price. They had the G.I. Joe ones. They had the Hello Kitty ones. They had Hot Wheels. What am I forgetting? They had the Barbie ones. All of them were like ridiculously cheap. The Barbie ones, I think, were like $1.50 Canadian. So you're talking like almost like 80 cents American. So those are like ridiculously cheap. They also had these. I had to leave with this one. The Arcade Classics Build-A-Figures, kind of like, not Lego kind of thing. I love Qbert. Atari 2600 was the first system I ever owned as a kid. I'm a little older than most people. So Qbert was one of those first games I got. I love Qbert. This was $4 Canadian. So like $2.90, I guess. So picked that one up. Very happy with that. They also had, didn't expect to leave with these. They had all of these, the Kenner branded Marvel figures from the Legends line. These were $4 Canadian each. Steve Ditko Spider-Man, really cool. Jack Kirby-esque Captain America, really cool. Jack Kirby-esque Thing, really cool. $4 each. About $2 to $3 American each. These, I mean, in retail, how much were these going for? Like $14, $13? Sign me up. They had a bunch of different other ones too. They had Nova, they had Moon Knight, they had Phoenix, Venom, Wolverine. I already bought the Wolverine full price. I feel stupid now. Um, I'm trying to remember what other ones were. They had a whole bunch of them. So that was really good too. Pick those up. And the last thing I got for also $4. Not a big Funko guy, but when they did their Funko basketball stuff, this is the Dennis Rodman. Honestly, anyone on that lineup is a winner. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Dennis Rodman. They had Dennis Rodman and they had a whole bunch of the rapper guys because they also did like the rapper series with Death Row Records and stuff. So I picked up Dennis Rodman, $4. Really good. Dennis Rodman, you should just do like every color of his hair. That could be like variants in itself. Purple hair, blue hair, green hair, pink hair. So pick that up too. So that's really good. And that's it more or less. Unfortunately, that's all I picked up this week. Not much else. A lot of my shopping I usually do on Saturday, but we just did grocery shopping today, and that was pretty much it. All of this I got done on Wednesday because I went to get my comic books on Wednesday. So I figured, well, since I'm out, I'm gonna go check out the clearance store, and let's just say I spent quite a bit of money, quite a bit. But yeah, again, it's not a named chain around the world, unfortunately. It's this store in Montreal that always gets like closeout product. They always get closeout product of stuff. And sometimes it's great deals. Sometimes like they had G.I. Joe classified stuff, but they were $20 Canadian each, which is still not bad, but I don't know. I think if it was a little cheaper, I would have picked up the Lady J or something, but $20, I'll wait for it to slide a little more, but cool little store. It's kind of like Ross, but not really, because Ross is more of an actual. This is something it's just seasonal. They open up in October and then they close like just before, like I think they close just before Christmas, and they just exist just for that like holiday blitz, and they pretty much exist just to alleviate the overstock of the big retailers instead. Really cool store. T-Formers 2002. That kicker sheet actually looks pretty cool. I may have to go for him. I believe the kicker, if I remember correctly, is only $45. So it's a really good price too, that one. So go pick up kicker before it disappears if it didn't already. Every time we finish these live streams, usually one or two of these get sold. So definitely grab it while you can. Every time these guys sell out, you gotta. They're good. They're good. But that's it more or less. Really, I like at least the Dennis Rodman's really nice. I would have liked it if they had the Magic Johnson. That'd be nice. I already own the Larry Bird. The Shaq one, Shaq, I don't know. I'm not a big Shaq guy. Not a big Shaq dude. Allen Iverson also not big on, but still pretty good. Still pretty good. Ross is getting truns. Yeah, well, that's what's happening right now. Ross, Ollie's, all of those closeout discount places. Right now in October is when they get everything. It's probably the most congested it'll ever be for product because Walmart's, Targets, even some Best Buys when they do carry toys, all of these guys have all these heavy bags of items and they're going, "Oh my god, we have all this product, we don't need it." And they sell it at deep discount to these stores and then these stores raise their prices and flip it a little bit for their own profit. But that's just what happens. It's always in October. And there's, you have the small local chains too that do that. It's kind of like, like when you have like a Halloween store that pops up just for Halloween, it takes over like I don't know, it takes over like a dead Toys R Us or something and becomes a Halloween depot just for that month. It's kind of the same thing, except these guys, they start in October and they end just before Christmas. They just try to move that product. And they actually had no joke, no joke. I remember one year I went to them. I think it was like 2 years ago. They had cases of Dark of the Moon. Gosh, what was that price point? It was part of their Cyberverse line, but it wasn't the smaller ones. Like it's not Legend scale, but it's not Scout. It's kind of like in between. So they had like cases and cases of Dark of the Moon Power Glide, which was like a kind of a Scout class. And they had so many cases of them. And I was honestly tempted to just buy a sealed case of it. Like I was just like, oh, I'll buy a case of it. And at the last second, I was just like, who's going to buy this? No one's, I'm going to bring it to This was like, I want to say like 2000, I want to say 2019, 2018. It was definitely before the big V. But I just remember like, man, oh man, like if I buy this, who's going to want it? If I bring it to TFcon, crack open a fresh case of Dark of the Moon, power glides. And I think my cost basis would have been, I want to say $10 a unit. So who would want a sealed? I don't know. To me, I just sat there staring at it and going like, nah, no one's going to want this. No one's going to want this. Cyberverse Commander. There you go. Yeah. Talk about a confusing name. Cyberverse Commander, but not to be confused with Cyberverse toys that don't have a Commander price point. There you go. But so yeah, Cyberverse Commander Power Glide. Like the regular one. Because I think they did a green one too. No, didn't they do a green repaint? So it was just like the regular Power Glide colored one. And yeah, it's like they had so many of them, and I was just like, they always have they have like a section that's just like stock that they've been sitting on forever, and they had tons of Cyberverse stuff that it's just like, who's gonna pay $10 now for Cyberverse Windblade? Who's gonna pay $10 now for Cyberverse, Warrior class Optimus? So, and they're just sitting on it. Tons of Hot Wheels, tons of die cast, tons of like kids' books and stickers, all of those cases and cases of stuff. The oldest thing I ever bought from them was I don't know if anyone remember the company Applause that used to do like PVC figures and stuff. Once in a while, they'd get like Applause PVCs from like the 90s. And they had like a bunch of X-Men ones, and I bought all of those. I love the Applause PVCs. So they had some of those. Like it's a weird store. It's such a weird store where they just buy tons of closeout of product. Oh, cases of My Little Pony. Sure, cases of Barbie dolls or Playmobil, or they used to get Lego, not so much anymore. But it was a very, very radical store. If ever people come down to Montreal during that October, November, December, I'll show you guys that store. It's a very cool store. But yeah, but yeah. So let's get into some more super chats, and then we'll just enjoy the rest of the day. Aaron says, not as old as me. Well, Aaron, we're both old men. Old men of the toy world. We're old men together. Orlando Chavez, I'm confused on how Cosmos was so hard to find and now ended up at discount stores. I would expect it to be sold out. How could that have happened? Well, the rumor is in Europe they were finding entire one character cases of Cosmos. So normally the deluxe case, how it worked with the Velocitron Speedia 500 collection was it was uh, 10 characters, and Cosmos and Clampdown were one per case. Everyone else was two of each character. So like, the Diaclone homage. There was a Dia. Oh my God, what's their name? The black repaint of Skids escapes me right now. I'm getting a brain fart right now. But the Road Rocket and the others, so someone will say it in the chat. They always do. And then I'll never forget it ever again. That's what always happens. But so you get like two of those guys, and then Clampdown and Cosmos were one per case. And then a couple of weeks after that, in I think it was the UK or somewhere in Europe, Dia Burnout. Thank you. Well, Dia Burnout's the Masterpiece version. Burnout is just Burnout. So you started seeing like these full cases, 10 per case of Cosmos. So I think it's one of these situations where I think that those UK cases are showing up in these clearance places. And then I pray that people aren't just scalping it and just ruining it for everyone else. But, so it's one of these situations where I think it's that. I think that those solid cases of one character were out there. They ended up in those clearance places, and now there's plenty for everybody. But you know how it is. Plenty for everybody, and then when it's gone, and then people are back to freaking out again. So we will see. We will see. I mean, it's you know, Transformers when it comes to pricing, and this is from personal experience as someone that was actively and still is to this day buying and reselling and looking at the market and going like this and this and this. It's always the same thing. When it first comes out at MSRP, people will pay our MSRP or they'll even pay more. There's some people that are willing to pay more. They need to get that new product. And then when that new product is a couple weeks old, it takes a dive. And then when that new product is like clogging the shelves after a month or so, it really takes a dive. And then next thing you know, people are selling it loose complete on the forums and nobody wants it. And it's like this $24.99 deluxe is now selling for $15 cash in, loose complete on a message board or at a TFcon or at a small convention. So we're in one of those kind of situations where, it's you see how it goes up and down. But then after a while, then people realize, oh wow, like that was like the best Rhinox figure we ever got in years. So then all of a sudden, then the value goes up again, and then all of a sudden people want that figure. And the next thing you know, loose complete ones. Um, I have an individual today. I helped him price his collection. I'm not going to say his name because maybe he wants his privacy. But on my Discord, one of my Patreon people, they needed me to help price a collection for them. He had a crazy uh, animated mint and box collection. A lot of really good stuff on there. And some animated product mint and box kind of went down in demand because there's not really much of a demand. But some of those still command very high numbers because they're the best versions of those characters. It might surprise you, a mint and sealed box Voyager class Optimus Prime from Animated will still run you $150. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. What was another one that really goes for really good cash? Like sealed Samurai Prowl, still will give you like $100. So there's some really good prices there out there still, but it really has to do with the market. Still has to do with the market completely. Brandon Woods. I forgot about Burnouts. Bought mine in the wild, found it a Clampdown as well. Well, if you found a Clampdown, you got a one per case. Lucky you. I never seen Crusher or Cosmos. I think you mean Crasher. I never saw Crasher either. Supposedly it was showing up all over Canada. I was not seeing it at all. Maybe it was just disappearing right away before I would get to the store. I have a lot of scalpers in my area, so I firmly accept the fact that if I don't see it in stores, it's not because we never got it. It's just because I never saw it. I also never saw Scourge either. The new Rhinox from the Masterpiece looks sexy. Well, darn right it does. It's probably the Cheetor and the Rhinox, the Tigatron, like all of the Masterpiece Beast Wars ones. It's crazy how good they look. Like I love, the G1 ones. They're amazing. Like I love the Soundwave. I love the Shockwave. The hot rods were okay, I guess, but the Lambors and all of that. The RC, they're all great. They're all amazing. The Wheeljack molds, they're all fantastic, but they do not look like they stepped off the computer screen or the TV screen like the Beast Wars ones do. It's crazy how those look. It's crazy. Everyone's talking about the first Orlando exclusive. Yep. So the first TFcon exclusive. I was going to probably talk about it when it was going to be public, but I guess it's public now. There's still more to come, so stay tuned for that. But then again, we're still 2 weeks away or so. But you got a slipstream coming. Just it's pretty much just a Seeker repaint with a different head sculpt. Doesn't have the feminine proportions, I guess is the best way to put it. But someone's gonna dig it. I'm sure it'll do well. They always do well. Brandon Woods. I should do that on my own collection. I spent a lot during the pandemic. Almost have 100% on War for Cybertron. It's to me, always look into what you have in your collection if you don't want it. I always say that timing is everything when it comes to selling your collection. And I'm not saying selling your whole collection, but selling pieces of it. And it's something where if you're looking at a figure and you're going, "Ugh, I don't know why I bought that one," but then you just let it sit there, you might not realize it, but that figure might be worth money at the time. And if you sit there and stare at it, like imagine you're like someone that's like, "Oh, I don't know why I bought that Rhinox," and then you just ignore it. And then the masterpiece comes out and you go, "Oh, well, now I'm going to sell it." Now the demand isn't going to be as strong because now your incentive to sell it is ruined because of a new product that makes it better. You know, I always like I always say that a lot of the big high ticket transformer items like Metal Hawk or Minerva, they even went down in value when those retail versions exist. Like if you really love Metal Hawk and then all of a sudden, you had this guy come out, you know? Yes, you don't get a pretender shell. Yes, it's not the same thing, but it did alleviate people that might have thought about buying the original G1 Master Force or a Minerva. So people do get options, and those are much cheaper options at a retail MSRP. But I always tell people, always look at your collection. Always look at your collection. Try to price it out. Try to figure out. If you can't figure out prices, I'll gladly help people that are on my Patreon. It's easy to contact me through Patreon on there. And of course my Discord through Patreon. And I'll help you figure it out. I always say, P&P, pictures and prices. That's how I do it. Show me the pictures, I'll give you the prices. Zach Libran with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Zach. I've been saving my Legacy and War for Cybertron boxes for art, but they take up space. What would be a good idea to do with the art and not keep it in a whole box? Well, so here's the thing. If you're keeping it for the art and you're not keeping it for the box, cut out that art and flatten the box. Don't keep the boxes. The worst thing you could ever do. Let me grab a good example. So here, this is RED RC. You remove the figure from the packaging and you put it in your display. That's great. But now this is taking real estate in your house. So imagine 3 RID figures loose. Okay. So let's say this is one. Let's say Cell is one here. And let's say Roboto is one here. They take a lot less space in your collection. But now you have those 3 taking space on your shelf. And you got 1, 2, 3 taking space of just empty cardboard. Take it from me. If I kept every box, I'd have no space. And those boxes aren't paying rent and they're not really doing much. And a sad reality, those boxes aren't worth anything. Yeah, maybe Masterpiece boxes, hold on to those, maybe some Japanese boxes. I say, me personally, anything that's like 2000 and below, keep. Anything 2000 and above that doesn't have Japanese origin, like, Marvel, like a Legends Transformers or some rare, like, Masterpiece or something, most 2000s and above product, the packaging isn't worth. If you kept that old box for RID Ultra Magnus, don't think it's going to increase the value of it when you're going to try to sell it in the secondary market. A sealed one, maybe, because there is sealed collectors, mint in box sealed collectors. They might see value in it. But if it's open loose and you had the box and it was in a closet and it's all, worn out because it sat in a closet for years, bouncing around, recycle it, send it back to the earth. I have this great picture that I posted on my Twitter years ago. I opened up almost every single movie toy from like Revenge of the Fallen up until Dark of the Moon, and I filled a huge, like no joke, huge recycling bin to the top. Filled it to the top. Imagine if I kept every single one of those. Oh my god, it would fill this room. It would fill, like no joke, every Revenge of the Fallen toy, if it was mint and card stacked, would fill this whole wall. Why would you do that to yourself? Enjoy that wall for toys. That's crazy. So I say cut off the art so it's flat, takes way less space like that, flatten the boxes, whatever you could do, but don't have it in its full form. Recycle those interior bubbles. Get all of that out of there. Get all of that out of there. It's a mess. And space is a premium. The thing with this hobby is it grows more than it shrinks. You buy more than you sell. So you for every like 10 figures you buy, you might sell one. And if for every 10 figures you buy, you might sell one, you end up in a situation where it's constantly growing. And if it's constantly growing and you're keeping the packaging for everything, like when Dennis Rodman is freed out of this box, I'm not going to keep this box. What do I need to keep this Funko box for? You know? So I could keep this art here. Oh, wait, that's the actual figure. So who cares? So I could keep this art here. Oh, wait, that's the actual figure. Like for this to take space when it could just be this, standing next to Larry Bird, make it easier. Look, I don't have the box for Larry Bird. He's just right here, chilling right next to Hot Rod and the crew off camera. you know, keep it simple. Space is a premium. Not everyone's lucky to have a big house. Talk to any Japanese toy collector. They don't keep their boxes. Lord knows they don't keep their boxes. They don't have the space for that. Everything gets recycled properly over there and out of there. So that's just my take. Just my take. Where we at? Where we at? Sorry. I got some on my face there. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Link CW. No, wait, hold on. Brandon Woods, Walgreens has Minerva back, and Ross has Minerva. Hey, get that Minerva. That's the cheapest and best Minerva you could probably own right now. Every other Minerva figure is expensive. The Kotobukiya doll is like $100. The original toy is like thousands of dollars. The PVC, I think, is like $30. The bootleg's $100. Trying to think of any other Minerva stuff. The Wonder Festival kit is probably like $200, and you have to build that. Let's see. Link CW says, "Damn, Siege Skywarp, Amazon exclusive. I missed 250 on eBay. Until a better one comes, then it'll go down in value." Ashnud, have a huge bin that I need to sell. Nightmare to go through. It's a lot of stuff, but you know what? That's why sometimes it's worth it to get a booth at a convention. There's a lot of people at TFcon that they get a booth and then they sell. They take that big bin, they spread it across an 8x3 table, and they let the people go at it, and then you end up with some money back. Then you could take that money, invest it in a GIC 5-year plan, or invest it in some good, like guaranteed stocks. Lock it in for 5 years. Use that money wisely. Build some credit. Build some equity. Brandon Woods, laugh out loud. I'm guilty of keeping the boxes. I get keeping the boxes if it's like, some really nice art. Like, where's the box that I kept? There we go. See? I kept Minerva, but I love Minerva. I kept the Minerva box, you can't see it over here. You could barely see it, but I kept the Hot Rod box and I kept the Override box. Those are characters I really like. But Did I keep the box for for anyone else? All those alternators, all of these, you know, almost everything on this wall, almost every single figure on this wall I bought brand new. Brand new. And it's just like it's something where I look at it and I go, goodness, like imagine if I kept all of those boxes. It would have been crazy. It would have been absolutely crazy if I kept every single one of those boxes. If I kept every box of every Energon figure, it would be this whole wall. If I kept every box of the Cybertron figures, it would be this whole wall, just stacking them. You know, Transformers Prime, Armada. Oh my goodness. If I kept every Armada figures box, you know? The only boxes I kept Unicron's box, I kept Omega Supreme's box, I kept Starscream's box. I keep the big boxes because those are good for storage. They're nice, big, corrugated cardboard, heavy boxes, and then you could store instructions in there or packaging and stuff. Those boxes I keep. But any of the smaller stuff, like to keep a bubble with its with the card back, and those weird like shapes that they were. You ever tried to stack Armada card backs and mint on card stuff? Weird shapes. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I guarantee you don't the logic of, oh well, when I'll sell it one day, I'll sell it with the packaging. No one cares. They don't. The people who care about the packaging, they want it sealed. You already opened it. So the only people that care about packaging are the mint and sealed box people. Hope I didn't miss anything. If I miss any questions, guys, from the YouTube members, just repeat them. Because the Patreon ones, they pop up and they stay on the screen. Giants Bleed. Hey, Pro, do you think Takara is putting out Silverbolt as their first United for a reason? I don't know. I think it's just more, I'm pretty sure they talk back and forth with Takara going, hey, we want to like reveal some stuff exclusively for our market. And that's probably what they landed on. They went like, hey, like we're going to reveal XYZ at our Hasbro Pulse Cons and stuff like that. And maybe we'll do something at New York Comic Con, but you'll reveal these items, That's the beauty of co-development and that relationship between those two companies. They got to work that stuff out. Will Murphy, I'm so glad the wife's at work and I'm not here and not here to hear this. Probably talk about the boxes. Look, brother Will, let me tell you. Trust me, most of it isn't worth keeping. It isn't. Take it from me. Take it from me. Like I used to keep the Armada packaging. I used to me was around the time when the movies started coming out, especially like 2007 going into 2008, and I saw just how much product was being put out. It was insane. Like in 2007, it was the tail end of alternators. There was still titaniums, movie product, the tail end of Cybertron stuff. We got the brand new classics line. So already those 5. Then we had titaniums, the 3-inch stuff on top of the 6-inch. What else am I forgetting? I think Universe was on its way out also. Robot Heroes was just starting. And I know I'm forgetting something. The Softimus Prime, the Slumblebee, the Nerf related stuff, like the rollout cannon and barrel roll barrel roll Starscream. There was so much of that product. If I kept all that packaging, the Unleashed line, battle scenes. I'm just looking at it all. The RPMs. If I kept all that packaging, I would have a whole room just of packaging. If I just kept that all, that would be insane, insane. And what does it do? Nothing. Literally tie it up, go to a recycling center. Maybe they'll give you $10 for all that cardboard. Like how they give people like pounds for newspapers. It's insane. Ashnud, I bought the entire line of Starlink Battle of Atlas, new at launch, kept everything in package. A year later, I got a dumpster and trashed so many boxes. And you know what's ironic with that? Starlink, all of that ended up on clearance too. When that game pretty much failed, man, some Toys R Us still have some of those kicking around, some of those figures. So to keep packaging, to keep packaging, it's you got to be crazy. It's not good. And Aaron Archer, you were right there in the middle of it. We made a lot of stuff. Yes, you did. Geez, it was because of the 2007 movie that I stopped being a completist. I was like, I can't keep up anymore. I'll try to buy as much as I can that I enjoy, but I was like, I can't keep up anymore. Still to this day, like I have most, which is still crazy. I say, oh, I'm not a completist, but I still have almost everything. But it's like I have most of that stuff. But at the same time, most of it I ended up getting in the secondary market afterwards. Because I'm like, I'm not buying, Blackout and Ratchet and some of these like Voyager classes at full MSRP. I'll wait. And luckily I did. I ended up finding them cheaper elsewhere. That was my epiphany that I had back in the Energon days because I would go to BotCon every year and see all that stuff super cheap. And I'm glad that I did because you'd have, oh, here's Ratchet. Oh, here's premium finish Ratchet. Oh, here's an even better Ratchet that's done for Revenge of the Fallen. So imagine if I just, and we trade our money with time, and to blow all your money, and to waste all your space with boxes, you got to be smarter with that. Link CW, I'm having boxes for my G1 stuff. Well, G1 is different. G1 is different. Like I said, pre 2000, different story. Different story. There still is value. You could still sell the box for Wheeljack for like $20, $30, $40, depending on condition. T-Formers 2002, I was keeping pretty much every box from the start of Siege all the way to the start of Legacy. And at that point, I just said, screw this, and spent 2 days getting ready for the recycling center. There you go, my man. And I guarantee if you, look, Siege was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. If you would have sold a Siege figure with the packaging and without, I guarantee most people just be like, keep the packaging. You know what I love? I love at TFcon. Go to any TFcon, go buy the garbage bins. They are filled to the top with packaging. People can't bother. They hold their product in the packaging, and then they go, you know what? They take the figure, they put it in their suitcase. They don't need this. This is taking space. This takes less space. This, on the other hand, takes way more space. It makes sense. Makes way more sense to do that. I would see Masterpiece boxes thrown out. Just crazy when you think about it. But it's true. They'd rather just, that big Masterpiece box, you take out the Soundwave, you throw out the box. It was a Soundwave box that I saw. T-Formers 2002. I also wanted to keep the art and even end up asking as a Patreon listener a question about the art book to get rid of boxes. Well, that's one issue, is that I understand like people, they love the art, especially like this, the recent years, Marcelo has been really knocking it out of the park with a lot of the art, and they haven't been doing art books. Like I would love it. Imagine if like they did like all of this art, because you have the alt mode, you have the face shot, and then you have the full body shot. Like those would be amazing if they did an art book of that, of Marcelo's stuff across all the stuff he was doing since Siege or even before that. But we don't get the trading cards anymore that sometimes would be a full shot of the art. You'd have like the art from Combiner Wars, and you have the trading card, which would be the art from the card back. Granted, it would be smaller, but it was still something. Now we don't have that anymore. So because we don't have that option, unfortunately, it's just, I get wanting to keep the packaging. Still to this day, we don't have a proper art book for Beast Wars box art. So there's another reason to keep Beast Wars packaging, because we don't even have a beautiful art book for all that old box art from like 95, 96, and 97, which is crazy when you think about that, but it's a reality. It really is. Princeton Phalanx 59 collects so many different things to keep boxes. I got rid of them all. Yeah. Well, imagine, like, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I love like the World of Nintendo Super Mario stuff. I don't keep any of that packaging. There's no reason to. It's very generic card backs. The back is just a picture of the toy that you bought on the front, because the front of the card back has nothing. What's the point of keeping it? I must have thrown out tons of that stuff. Of all of the like Marvel stuff and everything. Marvel Legends packaging. What's so special about Marvel Legends packaging? It's the black brim and everything, and on the back is a picture of the figure, which you already have. So what's so special about Marvel Legends packaging? Throw that out. Throw that out. You don't need it. You don't need it. Where are we at? Where are we at? Mikey and Louie, we were also guilty of keeping every box and have all those boxes and big boxes in the garage. However, they are nice to have now for giveaways. If you have sealed stuff, that's different. Sealed stuff is different, but when it's loose and you already have it, and not to mention you're also storing those figures in those boxes. That's also a different thing too. If you have stuff in storage, sometimes it's the safest bet is to keep it in the packaging it was originally in, meant for shipping. So a little bit of a different situation in your case, though. Having an empty box on the side, that's different. That's different. Chief Formers 2002. I met Marcelo at PowerCon back in August. He told me how much I'd love to see. Yeah, I would love it if Marcelo got an art book. He really should get one. He really should. He put so much time and effort into that brand for. Geez, Aaron, how long has Marcelo been doing Transformer art? It's got to be at least 15 to 20 years at this point. It's got to be. Has to be. 15 minimum. Like the fact that this man has put almost 2 decades into package art, uncredited, unfortunately. Like the only reason why we know is because we know as hardcore fans. But it'd be so great if they did that. Yeah, they made one for the Netflix show, but not for the TCG. TCG had amazing art. Gosh. But that's a problem even with Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering needs art books, and they only do select sets and stuff. So much artists, their art just relegated to like small little segmentations. Pre-Armada, there you go. So pre-Armada, so Marcelo is easily in that almost 25-year mark. Obviously, he wasn't doing stuff with Beast Wars, but he's definitely in there, you know? Definitely 20 years minimum. And that's crazy, it's nuts. It's so bad. Anyways. Horned Owl, I'm replaying a Mega Man Battle Network series, which is your favorite, on the Switch. Ran into Eugene Chode, and he reminded me of you just because of his Navi. Well, I only have a million of these guys on my table here. Let me get my phone. First of all, the Mega Man Battle Network collection on the Switch is amazing. Sold so many units, so that's definitely going to encourage them to do more. This is a little bit of a dated photo. Oh my God, you can't even see you can't even see the Eugene section, but that's just part of the Proto Man collection. It's blurry, so I apologize for that. That's in the other room. Sometimes people get a God, that is really blurry. I don't know how to do that better for you guys, but there we go, a little better. All the different Proto Man stuff throughout the years. It's probably like 200 Proto Man figures across all the different brands, including Mega Man EXE, aka Battle Network. I have a huge collection of Eugene Chode, aka Proto Man. Even some prototype stuff. Pretty crazy for that. Did he keep the packaging? Some of it. But again, favorite characters I keep packaging. Enjoy the game, Horned Owl. Which one are you playing right now? You playing 5 or 4? 5 or 4 are my personal favorites, although 1 was good too. Giants Bleed, how did Prime and Animated do in Japan? Transformers Prime was a absolute mess in Japan. To quote Aaron Archer, they didn't know how to market it, I guess is the best way to put it. Because there wasn't a play element with it. It was just transforming figures. Japan was like, okay, let's bring the arms micron factor in to kind of like push that. And then they played that up in the show. If you watch the Japanese version of the show, they had the arms micron theater, which was always at the end of every episode, and they had the cut minutes from it. The show got canceled early. If you go on my Twitter, I even pointed out how in the very last episode, they even pointed out how toy sales were really bad. They actually said it in the show, which is pretty crazy. That in the show, one of the characters said our toy sales were bad, that's wild. Show got canceled. It was losing out in it was in the same time slot as Gyro Zetter, which is a way better transforming robot show, in my opinion. For at least compared to Transformers Prime's Japanese version, which was kind of goofy. So Gyro Zetter was beating it out. Danball Senki, which is what LBX is called here in America, Little Battle Experience. So it just lost. And of course I think Crayon Shin-chan was another one too, but you weren't going to win against Crayon Shin-chan. So did very badly. Animated did pretty good. Animated did pretty good. It had the Otoboto family. That was like an extra segment that was tacked on. Animated also was lucky because it was kind of coasting the success of the Japanese release of the Transformer movies by Michael Bay. So even if Animated wasn't good, it was still going to get those eyeballs because of how successful the 2007 movie was in Japan. But I mean, and that's not me saying Animated isn't good. I'm saying it was going to be successful regardless because it was going to get that momentum. Mikey and Louie Proto, when are we getting Headmaster symbiote plushes with detachable cute head plushes? That would have to be done with Velcro, I would imagine. But then you would want the heads to transform because then it would just be a removable head. And I don't know if Hasbro would clear that. It's like, so let me get this straight. You want us to just remove the head, but there's no play element. It's just removing the head. They might not. They probably won't approve it. They'll be like, okay. James Hobson, Proto, you must have a lot of hot rod boxes. Oh, I think I posted it. What I did was when I did the hot rod display. Do I have that photo on hand? No, I don't. When I did the hot rod display, I thought, well, what do I do with all the boxes, right? I don't know if I have. No, I don't have that photo, unfortunately. It's definitely on my Instagram, but what I did is because when I do these glass displays, because it was on an open wall on the side, I used it as wallpaper. So all the hot rod boxes. So when you first see the hot rod display, one side of it, all the boxed items, all the boxes are on one side of it, kind of using it as a wall. So I find a way to make use of it at least. But yeah, I do have a lot of hot rod boxes, a lot of Minton box Beast Wars characters that I keep. Obviously Override slash Nitro Convoy. A lot of them, a lot of them, but not as much as I could. Trust me. Like, I didn't keep Creo boxes. I didn't keep Bot Shot boxes. I didn't keep Tiny Turbo Changer packaging. I didn't keep every single RPM's card back. I didn't keep Angry Bird Transformer packaging. I didn't keep, you know, out of the question. Definitely not. Crossover Death Star. I actually did keep that box, but only to keep all of the Star Wars not packaging instructions in it. Anything that was the big boxes, I would keep it because those actually had a practical purpose. And I keep the boxes for you might even see a few. You can barely see them. I keep the Generation Select boxes, but not to keep them. I keep them for shipping. I think the Generation Select boxes are perfect for shipping. They're very good, like corrugated cardboard. I don't have an empty one nearby me. I have a few there, but I don't want to move everything. But they're great for shipping. So I use those, and they have the tray in there, so it keeps the figure secure. Perfect. Cheapest shipping I could ever do is using those. So if you need good shipping boxes, keep your Generation Selects boxes, those brown ones. Because what's the point of keeping those? Oh, I'm keeping it for the great box art, the sticker on it. Yeah. Uh, T-Formers 2002 with the $5 super chat. Companies make reversible plushies all the time. Just detach the head with Velcro and turn it inside out. Yeah, they did that with the Softimus Prime and Slumblebee. But the problem with that is when you do reversible plushies, you have to make it out of a different kind of material that isn't the the minky. Let me grab Unicron. Oh no, he's gonna fall. Let me grab Wheeljack. So like this material, which is more of a minky kind, you can't do that inside out. You need to have something that's stuffed, so it would be hollow and everything. I'm not a plush expert, but I've worked with development of plush, and you could do that, but then you lose out in other areas. And in all honesty, like The sad truth is, Slumblebee and Softimus Prime didn't even sell well. Otherwise, Hasbro would have made more. They put out two, they didn't do, and they got released during the movie. So you think they would have found a market. I mean, look, you could do Popples. You know, Popple kind of, anyone knows who Popples are? It was a reversible plush kind of gimmick. Practically Rock Lords in a lot of ways. Patrick Brown, my BWVS Primal versus Megatron was delivered. Oh my God, totally unique and premium unboxing experience for me. Such high quality. Yeah, those are the ones. Well, it has the brown box on the outside, but then the inside is that homaging 1997 Japanese 2-pack kind of look. I love that. Looks really, really nice. That's what I love. The BWVS series, what I love the most about it is the cost per unit. When you really add it up, it's almost like buying the figures in retail, except you're getting Masterpiece paint level in a beautiful box that you almost don't even want to throw out because it's so beautiful. And like I said, those are the only other boxes I don't throw out is really cool Japanese boxes because those are almost a selling point in themselves. Mikey and Louie use those shipping boxes from Selects all the time. Yep, that's the smart way to do it. It's the easiest way to do it. James Hopkins, I just keep the Gen Selects box of Leader, Commanders, and Titan class boxes, and soon just Commander and Titan. They're going to make Leader boxes open window. Yeah, they're bringing those back again. So now that we have Titan classes, like you get one Titan class box. Like, man, let me give you an example. Like, where's that stupid slide there? Hold on. I think I still have that queued up. Do I still have that anymore? No, not anymore, eh? So like when I had when Hasbro sent me that giant promo box from Rise of the Beast, that was like that box is huge. And still to this day, it's sitting in my storage and I'm just going like, what do I do with this thing? It's huge. This huge Rise of the Beast promo box. Now it's empty because all the figures that were in it I took out, I opened. You know, I think the only thing that I didn't like open is like the Optimus Primal mask. Like that one I left in the package because I'm just kind of like, yeah, one day I'll sell it. You know, but you know, the t-shirt was in there, the books and everything, but it was just this huge box and I'm just like, it's cool. It was sent to me from Hasbro. It was like a gift. So there's kind of that sentimental thing, you know, that recognition, like, hey, they send me, you know, product and stuff because they see me as an influencer. But at the same time, it's like, what do I do with this big box afterwards? You know, like, do I sell it? How do I sell it? You can't ship that. The thing is huge. It's as big as like like a HasLab item. It's actually bigger than a HasLab item. It's bigger than the Star Saber box, actually. So it's like, how do I sell that? Oh, do I bring it to a con? Who at a con is going to want to buy that? Because then they have to put it in their suitcase. Wait, what suitcase could hold that? It's like huge, huge box. That box was meant to hold like every price point and a t-shirt and comic books and all this stuff and all the gimmicks. And they send one to me every year for every like big, you know, tentpole line. And like I remember like when they sent the big Dark of the Moon one, it was crazy. And then they sent that BotBots one. That one was huge too. They're nuts. Uh, Ritrix Union collection. Think we will ever get the rest of the throttle bots using Earthrise Cliff Jumper as a base? Well, I don't think they'll use Cliff Jumper as a base, but I do think we will get them. Chase as a trademark, while it has been used recently, will have to be used again at some point. That's a throttle bot. Wide load, that's not a trademark that they have, but I'm pretty sure they'll figure out a way to bring that character. Searchlight is a trademark that they've used in the past recently with what was it called, their power core combiners. Maybe they'll want to use that again. Um, I know with the alternators, they did roll bar. I don't know if they'll do roll bar again with that, but the opportunities present themselves from a trademark standpoint. And then if those opportunities present themselves, they will do them. Um, Mikey and Louie might be using some of these empty boxes in storage for the big LATFcon booth sale. Well, there you go. You got to use, like, to me, if the boxes don't serve a function, then really you don't need them, you know? Horned Owl, I just started. I'm currently on the first one. Oh, you're playing EXE1. Okay. Gonna play through them all again. Gonna be awesome. Play the heck out of these games. I'll go at sea while in the Navy. That's awesome. Imagine being in the Navy and, fighting Duo in Mega Man, not Duo. Yeah, Duo in Mega Man X EXE4, Battle Network 4. I love those. Even the Star Force series, I really like those too. That one's like less celebrated, unfortunately, but I love that one also. I always felt that was like Mega Man X to original series in a lot of ways, the Star Force. Giants Bleed, do you think Takara would do Go Prime from Thundertron? Actually really dig those colors. Well, the Transformers Go line, most of those were like train stuff and everything, so I doubt they would do those, but I could see them doing Go Prime. Look, when you have a leader class that, has some kind of like cachet, then you could kind of like put a prime with it. So maybe not so much the Thundertron, but maybe the Tiger Hawk. Maybe they could do it with the Tiger Hawk and do something. Have a nice leader class price point, but it's a prime character. Uh, Hi everyone. Sorry I'm late. Bigum says that. Mikey and Louie, we've been playing Disney Workana a lot. A lot of people have been playing that. A lot of people have been playing that. A lot of my TCG guys have been getting into it. Me personally, like I'm almost kind of keeping a distance from it because as someone that's been playing Magic the Gathering almost its entire like inception, like I played Magic in 94, it came out in 93, so I wasn't there for the first year, but for someone who's been playing Magic at least since 94 and then watching every other card game come out, be super hyped, played by a bunch of people, have a few sets, and then die, and seeing that over and over, X-Files, Overpower, the Decipher Star Wars TCG, Animayhem, all the different versions of Dragon Ball, the Versus series. Like so many that's like hype, 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 dead, hype, 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 dead. Look, the Transformer TCG. I bought them because I'm a Transformer fan, so I was going to collect those anyways. But I even said it to my friends. I'm like, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time, unfortunately. But yeah, how much time we got left? What? We have 13 minutes left? Holy moly. We flew today. Get your super chats in now. We only have 13 minutes left. Man, we were flying today. But yeah, anyway, so for sure I'm going to be at TFcon Orlando, 100%. So if you guys are planning to be there, I will be there too. I'm going to try to bring some Symbiote Studio plushes to have in the display. They'll have some kind of display at TFCon. I don't know if there'll be exclusive plushes that haven't been seen yet. I'll try to figure something out. Otherwise, it'll just be like maybe the Primal and the Slag will have some of the newer ones on display, just so you could kind of see them in person if you want to see like what they look like. And then the rest of the time, I'll be at Aaron Archer's booth. That's probably where you're going to be able to pick up these guys. Just come bug me for those. Otherwise, go buy stuff from Aaron. Get some cool art from Aaron. Aaron, the thing is, what I would suggest is go to Aaron and get your commissions in ASAP because he's usually completely tied up by early Saturday, at least from what I saw at Toronto. So if you have commissions you want done from Aaron, probably either plan them in advance, maybe even contact him and work something out, or work something good that you could get it all ready so that when you see him in person, it's all done. Then you could get him to sign it. You could take a photo with him. It'll all kinds of cool stuff. Will be the hippest table at the show for sure. And we'll do some kind of panel too. We'll have some kind of panel. I'll probably just be in the background, but we'll do some kind of panel also. We'll have some fun that weekend. Good stuff. Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. It's my return to the United States since the Big V ruined my perfect record. I literally went to the States every single year since 2001. No joke, since 2001, every single year, I had an excuse to be in the United States, whether it be for a convention or vacations or anything. And then the Big V ruined all of that. And it's like, now I'm back, baby. And I'm back in Florida, which is probably my least favorite BotCon back in the day, but whatever, beggars can't be choosers. Uh, Aaron says here at TFcon Orlando, I'll do tons. I have tons of instructions, but yes, I'm going to be busy. Yeah, totally. Like that's the thing. So if you guys do have commissions and you're going to be at the show, probably contact him through Instagram and work something out beforehand. Because if you go to him in person at the show, let's say you arrive, you're Saturday, you're in line, the deal room, you finally get into the deal room, you get to Aaron's table after looking around, and it's like 11 a.m. He might be locked in already for the whole weekend. So try to get him in as early as possible. That way he could work on them before the show and have them ready for you the day of the show. That would be best. Okay. That's just my opinion, because same thing with Josh Perez and all my other artist buddies. Personal experience, it's always better to contact them beforehand, because sometimes you go to them, hey, are you open for commissions? And they're swamped. These guys are swamped, especially if you want to do a really good commission, not just like a quick sketch, but something really nice, which is really what you want to have framed. You're always better contacting them beforehand. Mayoral Fabrication, if they make a new Beast Wars show, what new animal would be Convoy? I would imagine, if they don't want to go hard and fast with the uh, mammals are good guys and bad guys are lizards and insects and stuff, then I could always see, I just constantly see Optimus being a T-Rex. Like that's such a leader character. But if they still want to stay true to that with the reptiles and dinosaurs and stuff are bad guys and insects and everything else is good guys, I could see, Optimus has to be something that has a flight mode. That was the one smart thing. Even though they went with a gorilla, they still made sure they fit in a flight mode there. Obviously that's why they went with the bat initially, because they were probably like, he needs to fly. He needs to have that element to him. And I'm pretty sure they could work something in there too. They could probably go like, oh, well, let's make him like a lion again, like Lio Convoy, or you need some kind of majestic, maybe an eagle, it's America, a bald eagle, something that really sells it home. But it would be such a departure from, Hasbro right now more than ever. They don't want to go too far away from that Optimus silhouette, the chest, the blue head, and when you look at Lio Convoy was probably the closest we got to what Hasbro would do today, where you had an Optimus blue head, the chest was red, but it still had kind of a square element to it with a matrix chamber. Like it's almost something that like Hasbro today would have done back then and keep that element to it. So that's how I kind of see it. But bald eagle, a lion, they want to stay with those like iconic, like majestic characters. Like you're not going to see like Hippo Optimus, as much as that would be cool. But Timmy K Pointer XR, what's for dinner, Proto? So we went to the Chinese supermarket, and they were having a huge special on rolled. Either you get like, it's kind of like fondue in a sense, rolled beef or rolled pork or rolled lamb. We bought a whole bunch of those, and what's great about those is they cook very quickly because they're thin. So I bought bok choy. I bought a ton of those. I have rice. I have onions. You saute the onions. You put garlic with it. You put the bok choy afterwards. You put the soy sauce and the oyster sauce to give it some yum yum, some flavoring. You put in the beef in there. That beef cooks extremely quickly. It's kind of like the same beef that's kind of like in pho, like Tonkinese soup. And then that all simmers up. You put that on top of rice, and you're good to go, baby. And that's exactly what I'm having tonight, 100%, because it's super easy to make. It takes literally 15 minutes to make, and it fills you for the whole day, and it's so good. Mikey and Louie, TFcon LA you will have to run for your money on the cool table. Well, so far for LA, I'm like 90% going there. Don't know my plans yet, but it's still like, what, 5 months away or something. So still plenty of time to figure that one out. Thanks, Proto. Now I'm hungry. I apologize for that. You guys should know that sooner or later, the food questions always get asked. Yeah, I bought a lot of stuff at the supermarket this weekend. So I always, Like, I always like buy a bunch of things and I plan my food throughout the week. I always have like, nuts and berries, and I keep, very high fiber diet for breakfast. So nuts, berries, a lot of fiber from the berries and stuff, and always do that. And then I have a light lunch and then a really good supper. And it's good stuff. That's a dinner, all right. Gotta love my rice too. It's all good. It's all good. We got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left, my peeps. But yeah, quite the busy day of pickups. Quite the busy day, you know. Got some good stuff here and there. Still waiting for a few things to come in the mail. Uh, but otherwise, just kind of just chilling, counting down the weeks going up until TFcon Orlando. So we're gonna just get ready for that. Probably maybe the week before, maybe next week. What is it? Hold on, maybe next week. Let me just check the calendar here. You know, yeah, maybe next week we'll do a little bit of TFcon Orlando prep, if you will. Maybe we'll do something like that. Show off, like, again, we'll show off the exclusive, which you guys already, if anyone went to TFcon Toronto, they already picked it up. But this is for people in the States who didn't get an opportunity. They'll be able to get it. And yeah, just fun little stuff here and there, more or less, just trying to keep it simple and fun and cool. You know, I what I love about going to cons is just hanging out, just hanging out with people, doing my thing, the business side of it too. You know, I don't know. The problem is because it's going to be the States. I don't know if I'm going to do a live stream from the convention like I did with Toronto, because now it's roaming fees and I'm a Canadian on a Canadian cell phone. So I'll see. I'll bring my laptop with. I won't bring my rig. I'll just bring my laptop, and I'll see. And if it does work out that it's not too bad, then maybe I could do something with just like the webcam that's on the laptop. I don't know. No, I don't want to make any promises with that one though. It would be cool though. Convention in Trinidad. Oof. You'd have to tell Jaws D. He's from Trinidad. He would love to have one in Trinidad. Hey man, Trinidad has a huge anime community though, so you don't need just Transformers. They have all the anime stuff there. So you can do big anime conventions in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, see, here's the thing with the Wi-Fi with the convention hall, that is correct, but sometimes with these cons, sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work in the convention hall because certain convention halls, they charge you to use their Wi-Fi because they know a lot of business gets done there. So you actually have to pay for a plan in the convention hall. It sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's, it's hard to say. So if there's great Wi-Fi and I could use the Wi-Fi anywhere in the hotel and in the convention center, then I'm set. Then I'm great. But if that's not the case, then then we have a problem. You know? Yeah, and not to mention everyone else is going to be using the Wi-Fi there too. So it's again, I'm going to see what happens. I play it by ear. Like, it's the same thing when I was at Toronto just a couple of months ago. Like, I was like 50-50 going to do a Saturday night thing. And then I found a really good spot in the hotel lobby that was like anyone who was there in person saw, like, that spot I was in. It was a nice little corner. It was like, it's in the public, but it's still kind of like a dead end, so the sound quality would still sound good and the lighting was just good enough, and we were able to go for like a good, like, almost 2.5 to 3 hours, and just have a great time. So I kind of hope if I could find something like that, that'd be cool. You know, if I have a local buddy, you could use his phone as a hotspot if he can. And see, but then I'd be streaming off of his hotspot, and then I don't know. Again, we'll see. We'll see. It's something I'll play it by ear. I really will. Because if I'm super busy that Saturday night, I might not do any streaming. I might be too busy. Like, what if I'm out with Aaron and we're just out eating and we're out until 2 a.m. in the morning at a restaurant? So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I play it by ear. Luckily, TFCon Toronto had a lot less attendance than I was expecting. So because it was a lot lighter on attendance, there was a lot less people, a lot less people than I was expecting to be there. Like people that I normally saw every year were not there. So there was also people that didn't even come that year because we were still kind of one foot still in the big V world. And so some people just didn't want to go. And as a result, I had free time. There wasn't that many parts parties. I was running my own parts party, but anyone who saw my parts party, it was pretty simplified because I didn't bring a lot of stuff that time. We kept everything simple, so had time, you know, had time. Some cat for someone who might be going to TFcon for the first time. How much spending money would one need to have? Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing Ashnut said. Usually bring $1,000 cash and get it beforehand. Don't wait to get cash at the hotel. You're going to arrive at the hotel on Friday and the ATM machines are going to be empty because guess what? Everyone else thinks they're going to get money the day of the show. So get money before, go to your bank before the con, the week before, whatever, take out 1K. And you're probably saying like 1K, that's a lot. Just trust me, take out 1K, whatever you don't spend, even if you only spend 500, you could always put it back. But it's just for your own sake of like sanity, because if you go to the show and you go, oh my God, I need money, you're going to see all the hotel ATMs are going to be empty. And they refill them twice a day if they can, when they know that they have like a convention like TFCon there. But what happens is people just, here's what happens. That machine maybe holds only $10,000. And then what happens? 4 people go to those machines and it's already empty. And how many people are at the show? Need I say more? Mikey and Louie, is that how everyone at booths asks for payment of items? Is it always cash? Cash is king. It's always better to have cash, but some booths will have ATM machines or what's it called? Square. But those are usually the bigger stores. So ages 3 and up, Chosen Prime, what's the other one called there? Captured Prey. I know I'm forgetting another one that's going to be there. Probably TF Source will be there at Orlando. Like they will have probably a tap system or some kind of square device for ATM or credits. But in general, a lot of dealers don't. In a push and shove scenario, you somehow run out of cash, you somehow don't have cash. Maybe you could work out something where you could do PayPal with them. If they have PayPal, you could go, hey, I don't have cash. I know you don't take credit, but will you take PayPal? Because everyone has a cell phone and most people have PayPal accounts. You could kind of work that out. And then if you offer to pay for the fees, like, oh, I'll pay the PayPal fees, but just could I send you PayPal? You could work that out. But at the end of the day, cash is king. Everyone takes cash. Everyone wants cash. So cash is always king. It's the easiest way to do your transactions, and it's the easiest way to manage your money because you only know that you're going to spend that much and you're not going to have a huge credit card bill at the end of the day. So that's why I always say it's best to do cash. When I do selling at my parts parties, I only do cash. I can't be bothered with credit card or anything. It's just easier that way. If someone is in a push and shove scenario, oh my God, I'm buying $100 item from you, Proto. Can I do PayPal? Okay, fine. But if it's like a $5 figure, it's just not worth it. It really isn't. Mikey and Louis. So what you're saying is when we set up our booth, we need basically a cash register for our change. You don't even need a cash register. I have a envelope of all my bills, and I have literally a Ziploc bag of all my change. And everything is in intervals of 5 or 10 anyways. So that Ziploc bag of change is in the rare chance that I have to break up some kind of weird number. Or if they pay me, like a guy buys a $5 figure and he pays me in like quarters or something. So and I keep it all on my person. Like no joke. I have a giant wad of cash in an envelope in my pocket. I have a giant bag of coins, like some kind of like dude from like medieval times, like almost like a satchel in my other pocket. And that's it. Keep it simple. To have a cash register, if anything, it's like you're giving someone something they could run away with, which actually happened to one of the artists. I don't want to say who, but certain someone kept his cash register under his table, but he didn't realize that everyone could see what's under the table at a convention, and and that was the end of that. I don't want to say who, but it was at a TFCon, and I felt sorry for him because he lost a lot of money. Marrow Fabrication, the last TFcon LA gave me COVID for the first time. Well, that TFcon LA was still in the midst of the Big V, and that's why I didn't even go. Like I was still kind of on the fence even. So if you're in a situation where it's like, maybe it's still not the best time to go. Me, I'm a little more confident now. It's a little better now. But I mean, that's why I missed out on a whole bunch of TF cons. I skipped Chicago, I skipped LA, I skipped a bunch of them. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna. It's too much of a headache. There was, flying was a headache because they were checking everybody. That slowed down everything. It first of all, as a Canadian, when you're crossing the border, they always tell you you need to go 2 to 3 hours in advance if you're crossing the border with a flight and that was before the Big V. Then when the Big V happened, I was seeing like, oh, 10-hour delays, 5-hour delays. And I'm just like, I don't need 10 hours tacked on to my flights already. For my flight is already 4 hours. I don't need that headache. So I was just like, you know what? I'm better off staying home. And so it wasn't worth it. This Montreal to Florida, 3-hour flight, no more like delays having to check the passports and everything. So it's going to be quick. It'll be super quick. 3 hours, boom, have a good time with my friends, hang out with Aaron, boom, boom, 3 hours back home. I want to keep it that way. Um, can we bring our dog Precious dressed as Triptychon for TFCon? Some hotels actually are pet friendly, so you should ask if they allow pets. I know that Micah, if you actually go back and watch my TFCon segments that we did live, Micah, who was at the opening, he brought his cat with. He brought his Bengal, which actually had little Ravage missiles on the back of his leash, his or her. I think it was a she, the cat. Um, but yeah, so I know that the hotel at TFCon is pet friendly. So it's just something where you just gotta call in and say, hey, we're thinking of getting a room, but are you guys pet friendly? Do you offer a pet friendly? Some of them offer an option where we're not pet friendly, but if you do bring a pet, if you pay an extra $10 or something just for a cleaning fee, they usually have something. So that's one way to look at it. And we are way over now. Anyways, guys, thank you all for coming for once again another great live stream. Thank you for all the love and support here on the podcast. Really exciting news today. We're going to be talking more Transformers as the weeks progress. And a lot of cool stuff coming next week and the week after that. This weekend coming up, not this week, the next week is going to be New York Comic Con. So there's going to be a whole bunch of cool stuff dropping throughout the week. We have Walmart Collector Con that's going to be on Friday. So that's also going to be popping probably early. Some images might leak from their archives and their computers. There's so much stuff that's going to be coming this week coming up. So thank you again for all the love and support. Thank you for all the people that come in. We topped out at about 140 now. 140 people popped in. Obviously, we'll do good in the replays like we always do. So take care of yourselves. I'm out of here. Take care of your family, your loved ones, all that stuff I always say. And as always, thank you for the love and support. Patreon's down there if you want to continue supporting the podcast. We have a Patreon link. You can come join us on Patreon, which brings you into the Discord afterwards, and then all kinds of other cool stuff. And you can save money and all this. Go buy something from Aaron Archer at archermonster.com. Go check out Symbiote Studios with their lovely Transformer plush and t-shirts. I'm wearing Snake Eyes today. And go check out Hasbro and go buy some robots in disguise. I'm out of here. Take care, everyone. Mwah. Love y'all.